Welcome to the InSession Film Podcast for January 12th, 2014. This is episode 47, and I'm JD Duran.
And I'm Brent Allen.
And I'm Dan Clark.
And on this week's show, we have Dan from MWire Weekly is on the show. Thanks for being here, Dan.
Thanks for having me.
This week on the show, we are going to be reviewing the latest war movie to come out, starring Mark Wahlberg, Lone Survivor. And going off of that, we're going to be doing our top 3 U.S. war movie scenes, which took a little homework, but I think should be pretty good. And we are recording this before the Golden Globes tonight. So we're going to be doing our Globes predictions, but when you're listening to this, it'll be after they had come out. So you'll be able to know how well we did or not. So that should be kind of fun. And then we're going to finish off this show with films we've seen over the last week. But before we get going into it, fellas, how was your week?
My week was... It was all right, I suppose. You know, we had a lot of stuff going on. I think it was just a week. You know, nothing really super special. Nothing tragic happened though either. You know, it's not like my puppy got lost or anything.
Yeah, just the week.
Just the week.
How was your week, Dan?
Also, no puppy losing on my end either, which is good.
That's good. Well, we'll make it 3 for 3 then.
yeah. Just a fun week, you know, watch some movies, watch some football. Though the weather's been lousy, like raining and ice every day. So I'm ready for summer for sure.
Yeah. You know, actually, I forgot. We had, it was actually this week, we had a lot of, if anyone's heard me on this podcast before, you know, you might know that I also do some stand-up comedy. And I had my first set of 2014 this week.
Oh, how did that go?
It was interesting because not only did I kick off the show, it was a cold room.
Oh, wow.
Like, I mean, Will Ferrell could have been there and they would have just stared at him. So you combine that with, I thought, you know, brilliant idea. It's a new year. Let's try some new material.
Sure.
And it was 100% new material. So I wasn't overly confident with it anyway. But I was kicking off the show, so I didn't have the gauge to go, this is a crap crowd, go to the stuff that actually works.
Sure.
You know, so I ate it, dude. I ate it hard.
Nice.
It was not good. So
we all have those moments. Well, anyway, thanks for being here and replacing Scott. If you guys didn't know, last week was Scott's last time on the show. So in the meantime, Brent's kind of filling in for me.
Come on, let's
Scott
get
this
it.
week, so I appreciate it, man.
Let's get it. Somebody's got to bring the pretty around here, JD.
Exactly. All right, fellas, we got a really good show lined up. Let's get into it.
And here we go. I wish I could swim like dolphins can swim, though nothing will keep us together. We can beat them forever and ever. We can be heroes just for one day.
You're listening to the InSession Film Podcast. This is episode 47. Brent and Lone Survivor, you're never out of the fight.
Come on, frog man. Let's get it.
Shaw killed 20 Marines last week. 20. We let him go. 20 more will die next week. 40 more the week after that. Our job is to stop Shaw. And why do these men have the right to dictate how we do our job?
Rules of engagement says we cannot touch them.
I understand. And I don't care. I care about you. I care about you. I care about you. I care about you.
We can't do
anything.
Look at that
soldier. They are unarmed prisoners.
This is not a vote. This is what we're going to do. This op is compromised. We're going to cut them loose, and we're going to make this peak. When we make this peak, you're going to get comms up. We're going to call for extract, and we're going home.
Roger that, sir.
Roger that. Roger.
All right, Lone Survivor is written and directed by Peter Berg and stars Mark Wahlberg, Taylor Kitsch, Emile Hirsch, Ben Foster, and a few other people as well. This is based off a failed mission in 2005 over in Afghanistan. What did you guys think about the movie Lone Survivor?
I overall enjoyed it. I going into it, actually within the first few moments, you can kind of tell exactly what Peter Berg's intentions are with this film. Obviously, they're noble ones, you know, to depict this story of these brave men and the sacrifice that they gave. Yeah. And overall, on the action standpoint, I think, you know, this is a huge step up from Peter Berg from his last film, Battleship, and there are some great moments. I do think, though, there are some elements of like the cat eating its own tail where its intentions become so evident that it actually ends up hurting itself, and it's not nearly as powerful as I think it could have been. I think it tried to be like this generation's Black Hawk Down, but ended up being just a better made act of valor. But overall, I would say I did enjoy it, and I thought, you know, the action was probably the biggest key to it, the biggest element of its success.
What do you think, Brent?
JD, don't make me answer this question, man.
You're gonna have to.
If I answer this question, I feel like I'm dissing the men and women of our armed forces and those guys that were over there. I guess let me just say this. This movie, Dan, I think you actually put it exactly right. This was a better made act of valor. And I actually enjoyed Act of Valor, but I also knew that was not professional actors. They were, you know, real, you know, commandos, Navy SEALs, whatever they were. The stuff that this portrayed it incredibly realistic. It portrayed it incredibly, I'm sure it was incredibly accurate in terms of what happens, you know, when you have soldiers who are out there, and it really I don't know if it was a doomed mission as much as just a compromised mission. You know, I mean, something just went wrong, you know, and it messed the whole thing up. But if I can take it back, you know, we're not here to review or talk about the military. We're actually here to talk about film, you know. And if I can couch it in those terms, I actually did not like this movie. I think the director, while certainly it was miles ahead of Battleship, I think he missed his primary calling, and I've said it on the show before, and I still believe it. The primary goal of any filmmaker is to tell a story, and I don't think he told the story. I think they told us the sequence of events and how they went down, but in terms of character development, drawing the audience in to connect to the characters, giving us any kind of backstory, seeing a character start one way and go through some sort of transformation over the course of the show or the course of the movie, I think it failed on really all of those accounts, and I did not enjoy this movie.
Awesome. This should be a lot of fun then, because I am very much on the other side of the fence from you guys, so this should be quite the interesting conversation. The first thing that I'll say, though, is getting into this review, I always go into movies and I try to review them objectively. Like, you know, whether, you know, I've talked about this on the show plenty of times. I don't like to go into a Michael Bay movie expecting to hate it like most people, or going into a Scorsese movie thinking it's going to be the best thing of all time like a lot of other people do. And so going into that's kind of my mindset. And in my review on the website, I tried to be in that kind of vein as well. But I will say, going into this conversation and discussion, I'm just going to say up front, I'm probably a little bit biased in terms of how I feel about this movie. A couple reasons why that's the case. One, my family, I have a huge military family. So a lot of my, you know, friends and relatives and whatnot have been in the military. All I wanted to do growing up was join the Air Force. So I have an understanding of some of the reasons of where this movie was trying to go towards. So I just wanted to get that out of the way up front. You can disregard my opinions if you want, but I'm just letting you know. So that being said, I don't think what you said, Brent, was at all what this movie was trying to go for. Okay. This movie's not trying to tell the story of a transformation of someone. It's not trying to be Saving Private Ryan, as the marketing team for this film has been trying to go for. It's not trying to do any of that. What this movie is about sacrifice that our military members go through, one specific example of it, and how it, for the entire version of our podcast, be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes or on Stitcher, or check us out online at InSessionFilm.com.